Cruising. Not talking in your car, just, doing the laps around the block. Talking cruise liners. If you've been on a cruise, went on my first one last year, I'll save that story. It was fun though. Well, there seems to be some rough waters ahead, if you are to believe cruise leaders that say last season, whilst 1.3 billion was injected into the economy, they are concerned that rising costs now have cruise liners looking elsewhere. An industry commission report released on Friday aimed to provide the first comprehensive picture of New Zealand's cruise economy. And now the report showed passengers, crew and cruise lines directly spent $637 million last financial year, with indirect or induced spend of close to $730 million. But the Cruise Lines International Association report says while it did paint an exciting picture of the past, the future sadly looks a bit bleaker, with they're calling a 20% decline for the coming season. And more concerning is an even larger decline for the season after that. So why? Well, a lot of it's boiling down to the rising costs and uncertainty over regulations. Cruisers are facing an extra $3.2 million of unbudgeted costs this season after a recent border levy hike. So what does it mean when the ships don't come in? Well, joining me now is the National President of the Restaurants Association New Zealand, Mike Egan. Mike, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Firstly, Mike, have you been on a cruise before?
No, I haven't. I own a restaurant. We don't make enough money to afford cruises, unfortunately.
Well, that's a very good point. But look, cruise ships, they offer a huge boost, don't they, to local communities, and they do help drive economies. So what does that mean, say for hospo and tourism if they're not coming in?
Oh, exactly right. I mean, it's a real worry, this report. And, I just hope that it's going to be taken heed of by the powers that be that have maybe introduced these new levies and charges. Because a lot of cities, not just the big ones, but regional places like Mount Maunganui and, smaller ports that they go to by here, really rely on them, and they're a great boost for the economy. So any downturn will be of concern to our industry and retail as well, I guess.
So I did see that on average each cruiser spends around $283 a day exploring, shopping, dining, popping in and out of cafes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great spend. And when you think about it, 15% of that is GST as well. So the government's getting a good crack of that. So it's almost like robbing Peter to pay Paul. If they put the levies up and reduce the spend, it doesn't take a lot of mathematics to work out that maybe the $3 million they collect is better off being left in the pockets of the passengers, because we might get $20 million in GST.
Yeah, fair call. Mike, on a bigger picture, we're heading into Christmas, and one would think, this is kind of the silly season, the boom for restaurants and the like. How is it looking?
Oh, look, it's looking great. I mean, one of the downsides, I guess, of remote working is teams don't really get together that often. So a lot of companies and organisations are using this as a great platform to take the team out for lunch or dinner, or do some activities that involve a bit of team building with some refreshments and some nice food in there. So companies look at it as a really important part of the year, just to bring the whole team together and celebrate, hopefully, what was a good year of business for them as well.
Yeah. So have you heard from members saying that, we know that hospo's had it hard for quite some time. Have you heard from members that it looks like, things are picking up and people are, discretionary spending's back or starting to come back?
Yeah, it does sort of feel like that. I mean, anecdotally it does, but I mean, I guess the proof's in the data that we get from Paymark and the companies that process all the payments. They have the real-time data, and they'll be able to tell us when they put their report out soon. But it does feel good, and and companies, I think, sort of weathered the 2024. We're on the downward stretch to Christmas, and then next year, hopefully everyone comes hissing and roaring back into another year.
Wouldn't that be nice? Mike, cheers for your time. That is Mike Egan. He's the national president of the Restaurant Association in New Zealand. And you know, as he said, cruise ships offer a huge boost to local communities, and not just the big ports like Auckland, but Auckland alone. More than 600 million was injected into the super city last financial year. I mean, it's massive.